Hello world, Will White here, Pike Antler Survival School. I want to show you two things today. How to try a trucker's hitch the way I like to. Lots of years of experience have kind of condensed it down to this is my favorite version. Some of these ideas came from Dave Canterbury, same came from Dan West, and the rest came from me. So we got a kind of a conglomeration of different knowledge banks in one video. The other one is how to tie a trucker's hitch one-handed, just in case, whatever you want to imagine. It's good to know how to operate the trucker's hitch with one hand. So let me show you how I tie the trucker's hitch normally, and then I'm going to show you how to do it one-handed. But when I show you how to do it one-handed, I'm actually going to do it two-handed. This is the second time I've recorded this video. Doing it one-handed and trying to demonstrate it on camera, like you have to just maneuver your hand in certain ways that it just blocks the view. So I'm going to tie it normally, then how I do it one-handed. And at the end, I'm just going to run through it real quick, one-handed, so you can see how effective it actually is. Just so you can see what's going on better, I just married two pieces of cordage together, a darker color and a lighter color, just so you can kind of see what's going on. First thing, marlin spike. I'm going to create a bend in my rope, or a bite. Really, it's just bending your rope. Then all I'm going to do is tie an overhand knot. The pretzel knot. It's the simplest knot in the world. This needs to be semi-small. Too small is a problem, too big is a problem. Okay. Next, all I'm going to do is wrap this around my anchor point. This will be home. Okay, remember this, home. Bite number 2 goes through 1. Stick goes through 2. And now that lines up really well. You can see how well it kind of locks in. And what's great about this, two things. When I'm done, I can just pull this out. Nothing to really untie. Let's move to work side. I served in the U.S. Army. We used to do cadences when we're running, and one that always sticks out in my mind is hard work. And one part of the cadence, I find myself singing it sometimes. Hard work, singing hard work, work. Hard work, singing hard work, work. In that part of the song, hard work, singing hard work, work. So just in that little bit, it says hard work 3 times. It says work 3 times. So what I'm saying that for is so you can better remember how many times you need to do something on the work end and how many times you have to do something on the home end. Because if we do this incorrectly, we're going to have problems. So there's 3 works. This is my work end. So I'm going to pull tension and focus on things on my work end. And after the run, what do? We go home. Go back to the barracks. Home. The last thing you do is go home. Get in the habit of tying this one particular way. Details matter. I'm going to wrap this cord around the far side of the tree, not the close side. I'm coming from the far side, wrapping around, coming back here. Something Dan West comes to mind. How to orient your hand when we're creating our loop. You have something comfortable, pronate. Still comfortable, supine. And then we have internal rotation. This is the least comfortable. And what you want to do, since you're seeking comfort in your shelter, start with discomfort. So this is the least comfortable position with my hand. All I'm going to do is kind of drop my elbow forward, twist. And what I have here is a loop. From here, I'm reaching through my loop with my fingers and grabbing the work end. This is my working tree because I'm over here working, right? I'm not at home. I'm working. So your first work is grabbing the work end, not your home end. We want to grab the work end. So I'm going to grab the work end, pull it through, and pull it towards my work. So that's work number 2. Go ahead and feed your other end through. Once you feed your other end through, when I pull on this, nothing should happen with this loop. I'm getting this out of the way. So as I pull, the loop stays the same. Sometimes it gets bigger. Now, if I fail to follow that order, and I pull from the home end and pull home, the opposite of what I should be doing, but here's what happens when you do it incorrectly. This loop is going to get smaller and smaller. And if I yank it, it's going to snap into a really, really tight bow line, and the whole cordage is under tension. It's going to be a pain, especially with one hand. So that's why it's so important to remember the work, home. And with enough practice, guys, when you do this, it can be pretty smooth and quick. And guess what? Third work is pulling towards my work end. Then all I do is pinch here, create another bend, push a bend through my bend, and pull home. You're done. That's how you tie your trucker's hitch two-handed. And another great thing about this, when I'm done, I just pull this, take my slack out, this knot, gone. An injured hand. This, tying with one hand, it's definitely possible. It's not a big deal. It's just cumbersome. Now, untying this with one hand, very cumbersome. You're going to have to use your teeth. I don't know what bacteria is on here. I don't want to chip a tooth. So let me show you how to do it without even tying a knot. Now, I'm going to show you this two-handed. But here's all we're doing, guys. Devil's in the details. Establish what height you want your ridgeline. Going to wrap once. Now, the second wrap needs to overlap. So I'm going to come on top just right here. So when I let go of this, it's not falling. If I do it differently, things start falling apart. And don't make this super tight. Not yet. So I'll go with 3. And then lastly, I'm just going to tuck this. And this is simply just going to go between the tree and my cordage. You can leave it like that. So later on, to untie it, you just pull on this. And because there's tension and friction in here, when I pull on this, it's going to self-tighten. I'm 250 pounds. Not proud of it, just am. And it's quite a bit of force. And when I'm done, you just tug on this. Now this is where it gets a little more complicated. I'm going to wrap here. Same thing, I could do this one-handed. Pull it through. Here's where it gets tricky. When I feed this through, that's fine. But in order to keep tension upon here, I'm immune. I know half of you are like, dude, that's poison ivy. I'm like, yeah, I know. So here's the issue with having one hand. When I pull tension to complete the trucker's hitch, I have to hold tension with one hand while tying a knot with the other. So how can I do that with one hand? Let me show you. You give me some slack here. I'm pretty good at knots. Sometimes the names slip my mind. And the name of this knot in particular you're about to see, it's drawing a blank. So if you know the name, tell me. So here's what we need to do. We're going to feed this through twice or 3 times, depending on the situation. Now, right now, this cordage has been used, and it is wet, so it's going to slip a little bit, especially if it's brand new. But since it's wet, it's going to slip a little. So all we do, same as before, feed it through our bite, but this time we'll do it twice. Okay. And we're going to test that to see if it works. Nope. Okay. So it's too wet. I can see water actually dripping out of this. So here's what we need to do. We're going to feed it through a 3rd time, but it matters where. Okay. So you can see here, it's stacking downward. Okay. So my first wrap's on top, second one's on bottom. We're going to change that and make our 3rd wrap back on top. That's going to create more friction. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. So first wrap, second wrap, 3rd wrap. Pull this, the knot's going to want to flip on itself. See how it's like it's wanting to lock on itself? I just keep pulling. There it is. Now it popped. Now I'm storing tension. Some people say that's good enough. I personally had enough. That's good enough for the night situations. Waking up from my shelter, not good enough. So I like to be sure. Next, we do the same thing we did. It's one-handed or two-handed. And create a bend. Put bend number 2 through that bend. Pull it through. Pull home. If you want to eat up some of this excess and create more tension in your ridgeline, which is usually always a good thing, I'm going to wrap around both of these. So I create my bend. Instead of wrapping just around the black, I wrap around the black and the green. Pull it through and pull. So I need tension first. And this one, you kind of want to wiggle back and forth and pull home. Boom. And here's just another reason why Truckers Hitch is so great, especially one-handed situations. Pull on this, give this tug toward the home end to untie it. The tension is relieved. I can pull it. Now the slip knot here, pull it nice and tight, comes undone. So now let's do this one-handed. Pull home and I'm done. That took 1 minute, 6 seconds. Totally doable. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay alive as long as you can.